Welcome to the podcast. Súbele volumen. Conversation with the people who were with me. In the world TV. Carlos tonight. Historias de un reportero. Carlos tonight. Dale que viene lo bueno.
Hey everyone, welcome to Carlos Tonight. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for watching and of course for listening. If you like quotes and motivation, here's one you might love. Never stop believing in yourself. Those exact words are how many of us get through the tough times as we move from point A to point B. My guest this week strongly believes that, and I'm happy to be connecting with him today. Kyler Miles is the owner of a video production company called Making It Happen Productions. He's a fellow podcaster and storyteller. Kyler, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, my man. Thank you so much for having me. And killer intro. I was just vibing to that intro, man. I was dancing. I was feeling good. But hey, thanks for having me on, and I'm doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the music. I always dance to it, so it's cool.
It really gets us in the mood and the vibe for what we'd be talking about today. So
exactly. So it's great to have you. Before we begin, why don't you share with us the type of projects that you work on with your production company?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of different types of businesses and various industries across kind of North America. But really, I started video in the software development space. So learning how to make the Gary Vee style content and bringing value-based content. But over the years, I've developed a lot of different skills in promotional style, selling style, and really just, again, social media as it's evolved. So most of the projects I'm working on are podcast related, so value-based and educational content, but then also social content. So businesses and brands and entrepreneurs can gain awareness on what they're trying to do and build a brand around the problems that they solve. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And my vehicle in doing that is through video. So that is my bread and butter, my passion, and that is how we make it happen here.
So I mentioned storytelling earlier. I was introduced to storytelling when I was in fourth grade. Miss Sims, John Palmer Elementary School, Chicago, Illinois. She taught us about storytelling, and from that point on, I fell in love with telling a good story. I developed, and that's how my journey to becoming a journalist. And writing is something that I do, professionally right now, and then of course just for personal reasons as well. Do you remember when you were first introduced to storytelling?
Oh, good question. I mean, when I first was introduced, probably around the same age, but when I first realized the importance of it was probably only like 3-4 years ago, like not that long ago, when I started learning about video filmmaking and storytelling, and I realized the impact that it had, that I actually gained an understanding that you telling your story, your brand story, how maybe you're an underdog, maybe you went through certain challenges when you were a child or through your adolescence, and you overcame and became the CEO of this, 7-8 figure huge company. People want to hear that story. They want to know that journey. So first time hearing about stories, probably around the same age, but realizing the importance of it. I mean, my late 20s, probably when I actually clicked in my noggin that, hey, you should be actually telling more stories.
Do you remember when you first picked up like a video camera?
First time picking up a camera, I was quite young, and I think I was around 8 or 9 years old, but I didn't dive into it then. I didn't actually get into video production because I was scared, to be honest. My family comes from a acting background. My uncle was a director, and on my mother's side of the family, they're all into that life. They grew up in LA, and they wanted to be stars and be on big screen TVs, and I wanted to be that as well. But I had actually troubles reading as a kid. So reading the scripts and reading in front of these directors just like paralyzed me, right? So I never pursued that passion until later on in life, that I actually picked up the camera for maybe a second or third time in my late 20s, where I really fell in love with the process of filmmaking. And then now getting back into in front of the camera, podcasting and helping, my clients articulate their genius and actually come across very confident on camera. But yeah, that's pretty much when the first time I held a camera. I was quite young, but I didn't actually get into it until I was in my late 20s.
It's funny that you said your family members you have in the film industry. My family, we're in like journalism, so kind of similar tracks, different but similar. And then what was I going to tell you? Oh, my sister actually had a Sony Handycam back in the day, and oftentimes
Nice.
she would let me borrow it, and so then I would go and shoot video of my friends. This is back in high school, and I didn't know it then, but I was doing reality television with my friends, following them around and doing all this fun stuff. And I still have,
Yeah.
I'm going to date myself, but I still have VHS tapes with that footage out there.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Now that you say that, I do remember this one school project in high school, and you had the option, you can present it any way. And I wanted to present it with video. And it was it was in law. And it was just a silly reenactment that my buddy and I were cops and solving a murder. But I just remember having so much fun and knowing nothing about video and editing and piecing it together. Like, we got an A+, 100% on that project. And I'm just realizing now, like, there's so many of those moments in life that you realize you were passionate about something, but you never pursued it because you thought, hey, I can't make a career out of this, right? So, and similar to you, just having fun, and you get that, you kind of know early on that that was what you're meant to do. So that's super
Exactly.
cool.
Where do you think you get your passion from?
I mean, my parents really instilled in me at a very young age to follow my dream, that the sky's the limit for you. Do whatever you do that makes you happy. And for a long time, that was actually through dance. That was my first creative outlet, was hip hop and breakdancing. And I was very scared to go into that because, at a very young age, you're, maybe 12 or 13 years old, you're afraid of your friends making fun of you because you're in dance class. But
Right.
my mom actually was like, hey, Kyler, you're going to be the only guy with all girls. And all of a sudden, I signed up. But that was the first little outlet that I had of creativity. But my passion really does come from just the love of it. I really do love the process of it. And you will know when you fall in love with either a career or a person, you just kind of have that feeling in your gut. It's hard to really describe, other than I just know for a fact this is what I'm meant to do. And that feeling may evolve as I get older and more knowledge and wiser. But as of right now, I know this is what I'm meant to do. And hopefully that answers your question, because
Yeah, that's
I'm still
awesome.
trying to figure it out.
That's awesome. So over the summer, you were featured in New York Weekly. Tell us about
Yep.
that experience and how it all came about.
Yeah, I mean, it was just funny, doing a project for a friend of a friend, and just through connections and having dinner with them, and all of a sudden, hey, I know this person, we got connected to the right people,
It's all about
and
networking, right?
all about networking. And honestly, I didn't realize how important that was until I actually went out and doing it when I was trying to get business, get sales for my business. And I realized my network is just my friends. It's hard. So going out to different locations, networking events, and there's no, fun, sexy story. It was just me going out and meeting people and meeting the right people. It took a long time to get to this point. And I just got into the habit of connecting with people, bringing value. Before this call earlier today, I was coaching, a young guy. I think he's 15, 16 years old. He's a dancer, wants to blow up on TikTok and Instagram and all these things and use video. And you never know who's in his network or his future network. And so I like to pass my knowledge on to him and connect that way. And I really think I built a connection with him. But that's all it is. It's just networking, and through connections, through past work experience, I connected with the right person that got me involved with this company that got me on the magazine. So not super sexy, but honestly, it's just networking.
Yeah, it's great that you're sharing your knowledge and then your expertise on everything digital, film, and whatnot. Tell us a little bit of some of the tips that are in that article that you're sharing with people, and I feel like whoever reads that is going to be successful in whatever they're planning on doing in social media, right?
It's funny, those 5 tips, I would even add more if I could write it right now, because so much is changing in the world of social media and video today. But I'll give you some tips for sure. So, the biggest thing in that article that I wanted to help people perceive is that number one, video is the marketing tool today. For every medium that is out there, which is audio, written, and visual, visual is king at this very moment. So you need to seize this opportunity, and you see it everywhere, right? Less and less people are watching things on TV and watching things on their phone. Right. So you have to make things also. I actually take a very vertical first approach now. Depending on who you are, right? There's still niches out there that, do very well with the traditional marketing. But I would say 7 out of 10 businesses would probably be using a vertical first approach. So that would be my first kind of tip, is how can you connect with the person on their phone? This is in their pocket 24/7, and this is where all the eyes are right now. Number 2 is, how can you tell a story a lot shorter, a lot quicker? Our attention spans have dropped a lot, including myself. I say this in the podcast world, that there's no such thing as too long, only too boring. Meaning that people are always fearful of the length of time, but it's not about the length necessarily. It's more about how interesting the show is. So although you want to make it short, you want to make it interesting. You want to make it pop and punchy. And, this is more the perspective that I'm giving this tip is value-based content, content like you and I are doing tonight. Punchy, if you're a realtor and you want to give your clients tips on how to find the perfect house, you can spend an hour giving those 5 tips, or you can spend 15 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds giving 3 really powerful tips. So keep it short, keep it consistent, keep it concise. That would be it. And last thing is, you got to try. You got to do a lot of different trials. What I say to my clients is that these social media platforms, this is the only time in the world that you can get paid to actually advertising your business. Instagram is paying you in the Creator Fund for posting videos. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all these platforms, and TikTok are paying you to actually advertise your business. So if you're not utilizing those tools, I don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So you got to be posting on those and treat it as kind of like a testing ground. And then let's say you post 10 videos, one of those video pops, that's what I would use as my ad. That was what I used, and then put money into that specific video. So now you're playing on both fields. You're playing the organic play, which is your testing ground. And I find when it's a testing ground, you care less about, how am I going to be perceived? And, does this look professional enough? It's a testing ground. It's a playground. You want to just get it all out there, see what works, then take the best of the best and use that in your ads. And that's how you can really build up your business. I think I said 4, maybe 5 in there, but that's kind of up-to-date tips that I would say how you can leverage video and leverage social media and grow your business and your brand online. Hopefully that was good. It wasn't too much information, but that's kind of a quick summary.
So in your opinion, what is your favorite social media? Your favorite to go to?
TikTok right now is my favorite. I mean, I open the app and 2 hours go by. Right? So I don't know if it's great in that way, but this is where the attention is. It's changing the game for every single platform. Facebook is trying to be like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, even LinkedIn. They're all trying to mimic TikTok. Mm-hmm. So even if you are not a fan of it, that's where all the businesses are gravitating to. That's where businesses are happening. People are honestly becoming influencers overnight and growing their audience through this one platform. So that is the one thing I would go to, and you'd be shocked actually how many older people, because they think it's a young app, are on the app today. My father is, getting to his 70s and he's on the app and he loves it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to get my mom to check it out, but I'll send her some videos and she loves it. And I'll admit, last week I stayed up till 1 or 2 in the morning just on TikTok.
Me too, brother. I mean, so easy.
It sucks you in.
Yes, sucks you in.
I was reading somewhere where people are more on TikTok than they are watching videos on YouTube. Have you
And
read that?
Netflix.
The Netflix,
And
yeah.
Netflix, TikTok, it beat Netflix in views. And Netflix is like, there's 3-hour movies on Netflix. Like, how is that even possible?
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's
So,
just crazy.
how do we become successful on, say, TikTok?
Great question. I would say it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of TikTok's a unique platform, right? Because unlike other platforms like Instagram and LinkedIn, where we focus a lot on production, what you see right now is a lot of production value. I love it because I'm passionate about photography and videography, and I like the look at this. But the biggest thing is they value content over the production. So if you want to succeed, focus on your content, meaning what are you saying to your audience?
Right.
What are you doing? What are you showing? And that will beat out everything else. So that's number one. Don't focus on the prettiness of it, meaning production value. Focus on the content value. That's number one. Number two is it's the first platform that actually the algorithm is based on interest, not of popularity or other factors. It's only interest. If I post 10 TikTok videos and the 10th video pops, meaning it gets big, gets a lot of views, right? The first 9 don't matter. It analyzes each single video as its own entity. So you have 10 chances. In one day, if I post 10 videos, I get 10 chances at bat to hit a home run, versus if I go on Instagram or other social media platforms, if you post 10 videos in the same day, they will calculate based on all the videos, the average, right? Now, I know that's going to be changing. I don't know when, but as of right now, today, in September in 2022, that's it right now. And other platforms are very similar in that way. So there's kind of a cap to how much you can post on each specific platform. And I think I have a video back on my YouTube channel about what that cap is. And it might be out of date, so I might have to, actually update that own video. But there are caps to how many videos you can post to please the algorithm, right?
Oh.
So to be successful on TikTok is consistency, content value, and just showing up, right? Just showing up and trying new things. I can't say what works in every industry because I'm not an expert in every single industry, right? And every industry has their own nuances. But what I do is I look at the videos that are popping and I try to recreate some things and then have some original. It's kind of like an 80-20, right? It's good to ride the wave, the trends and stuff, and it's fun, and it's good. But at least in my opinion, is that if you're trying to do a business and you're only doing trends, you're limiting the audience that follow you are not going to be your buyers, right? So I care less about the number of followers. I care more about the true fans of what I'm speaking about, right? So consistency, right? Showing up and focusing on the content value, and don't worry about how many you post. Just go hard as much as you can without burning out. That's the biggest thing.
What do
I
you
think
say?
that's good.
I like that. What do you say to people who are like, well, I don't have time to create a 15-second video, or the person who's saying, oh my God, I think I'm posting a little too much?
Yeah, it's a good question. I do get that a lot. So for the busy professional that is too busy, or so they say, if Gary Vaynerchuk has time to film and make content, I'm sorry, so do you. This guy, he's the busiest guy I know. If Grant Cardone, let's think of all the big players, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Jay Shetty, you can name any big players, and they make time for content is because they know the importance of content. Alex, what's his name? Alex Hormozy spent millions of dollars a month on content creation. Or, pardon me, not millions. Hundreds of thousands a month on content creation between him and his wife every single month. I think it's like 40,000, something crazy. It's very, very high every single month because of the importance. And they dedicate a couple hours in a month, right? And they have a team. That's true. They have a team to help them. But I don't like the excuse as time. You do have time. You make time for what's important. That's number one. You can make time for it. Number two, if you want a strategy to help, create content, if you don't have a team behind you, what I use is the 3-hour rule, right? So an hour planning, an hour producing, and an hour of production, an hour of producing, meaning editing and stuff. So spend an hour researching, maybe planning, writing scripts in a week, another hour filming your videos, whether that's, short form videos, like 30-second videos, or maybe that's a podcast like this. And then the last hour is editing those things. And there's lots of tutorials on YouTube, how you can edit straight on your phone. You can edit very simply, free. So there are ways to do it in 3 hours a week. You can make content. That's, I would say, the commitment for someone who is busy and doesn't have a team behind them. 3 hours a week, you can make awesome content and start hopefully getting some traction around your brand.
Absolutely. Great tips, great resources. Tell us where we can find more information on the knowledge that you have that we can read up and maybe follow in your footsteps.
So I'm active on almost every single social media platform there is. At Kyler_Miles is, I think, my username. For most of them might be a little bit similar, but if you look up Kyler Miles, I should be the first one that pops up. There's a few other Kylers out there that I'm trying to beat. But Kyler Miles on social media. My website's makingit.ca. That's on my production side. So if you're looking to hire and utilize video for your business, you can look at that. But hit me up, send me a DM on social media. I'm very active and happy to answer any questions, hop on a call, and support you in the online world.
That's great. I'm glad we connected, and I'll be sure to put all your information in the show notes so people will know and connect with you. Kyler, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Love the setup, and God bless you back.
And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching and listening to this episode of Carlos Tonight. It was written and produced by yours truly, Carlos Correa. My theme by Sken, Galis. Remember, you can check out my website, carlostonight.com, for the very latest on the show, see upcoming guests, and check out past episodes. That's carlostonight.com.